NRM and President Museveni believe that this is the kind of politics that should be imposed on Ugandans. I think Ugandans deserve a lot more than this. They deserve the freedom to make rational decisions, not decide on fear or on money. They deserve a leadership that gives them hope rather than force them into a crowdless way. And while the NRM takes pride in this election that they increased their share of parliamentary seats and their share of the presidential votes, it is just a shame. It's and a terrible embarrassment to all of us.
You think it was a hollow victory? It's empty.
Well, it wasn't a victory.
What do you mean?
I mean, if somebody came and took your things forcefully,
yes,
does it declare victory on you?
So I don't think it's
no. For democracy, this was a terrible defeat because people thought, in fact, when they saw President Museveni very calm, many people delusionally thought that things have changed, that the president is going to run on his words, on his record, and that nothing funny would happen. But it turned out that the leopard never changed its skin. It's just the same spotted skin.
Is the opposition divided?
No. The opposition, you see, the problem is that people take the opposition as one entity.
Exactly.
When it is a conglomeration of very many interests, very many ideologies, very many leaders. And when we don't come together, they think we are divided. First of all, we're not together. It's like saying this country is divided on account of us having 50-something tribes. We're not divided. But that is how we are. And that is how the opposition is. The focus on division is to make a coordinated movement within the opposition impossible. We start looking at Betty Kamya suspiciously. We start looking at Latigo as an enemy within the opposition. But the opposition is merely a position in the politics of this country. It doesn't mean a collection of individuals or parties of a certain attribute. No. So we are not divided, but we are diverse.
Well, maybe you can help us understand this. Some of us were not politicians. Before the elections, a group of opposition parties came together with one aim. Afterwards, some did not agree to that unity. After the election, even those who did not come into the fold decided they should sit under one umbrella and do certain things together. How do you read that?
Well, you know, this is the reality of politics. That sometimes
united in defeat.
Sometimes your interest takes you in diverse directions, but sometimes your challenges force you together.
Right.
And the post-election challenge is common to all of us. That we have a government, a president who defeated us through a lot of, illegal processes. Giving money is illegal.
Was that surprise? Was that a surprise? You didn't expect it to happen?
No, not on this scale.
Lo and behold.
Not on this scale. I mean, we have been in elections before. We saw money before. But just think of it, in my constituency in the village, people have just come back from the camps.
Yes.
And you are giving an electorate 50,000 shillings.
Oh, they got 50,000 shillings?
Some got 50,000.
To vote for a certain person?
Absolutely. The sub-count is given, they bring money publicly, like in a marketplace.
Right.
Say 10 million for your sub-county. You divide it.
Right.
And the LCs sit down and they divide the money, and each LC goes to their village, and they share the money and drink.
Maybe that was a village development fund that was passed in the supplementary budget. And it's totally above board. Honorable Kamya, is the opposition divided and could it have won if it stayed together?
Before I answer that, Edmond, before I entered into, I came into mainstream politics and partisan politics. I used to be described as a political analyst.
Yes.
Nearly like yourself.
I remember that very well.
I was a political analyst.
Yes.
And I look back with nostalgia in those days because I could be objective and say what I wanted to say.
Yes.
But of course, when you take sides, then you get enclosed.
Yes.
With boundaries. There are things you must do within certain boundaries, and that takes away something.
True.
Something, a lot of things.
It does. Yes.
But in this show, I am going to be bold and go back to be a political analyst, objective political analyst.
Go on.
While all these things at certain risk, there are so many intimidation in this country. The NRM intimidates with the gun and with the state. But the opposition also intimidates with the vote, intellectual and political intimidation. There's also a lot of intimidation. And people fear to say what they want to say because they must say what they're expected to say. But anyway, I'm going to be bold and give this whole thing another kind of critical analysis. There are many reasons that the NRM won. One, of course, ballot stuffing, vote rigging, intimidation, the army, all the things that we talk about.
Manipulation of
the register, the law, the reforms, the electoral reforms, and legal reforms that we're always talking about, an inept electoral commission. All those things are there, but they're also something else. They also didn't leave anything to chance.
Yes.
They went to the ground and mobilized.
True.
That is why I kind of hold back a little at a price. I know for a fact that NRM has got 30 people per village. Yes. Officials.
Yes.
Per village. We have 57,000 villages. Multiply 57,000 villages with 30 people.
It's 1.5 million plus.
It is 1.7 million.
Yes.
I mean, that is where they start with. I would like any other party to tell us what figure they start with.
Right.
Moreover, 1.7 is at the village level. Okay? Then they have 30,000, a committee of 30 people per parish.
Yes.
And there are about 11,000 parishes in this country. Of 15,000 parishes, that is 450,000. Then they have 30 per sub-county and 30 per district. So easily, they can talk about beginning with 2 million. Officials only.
Right.
That is why I kind of hold back. They did all this, but they also did the work of mobilization.
Right.
So they can say, we have at least 1 million votes.
Mathematically.
Right. which we start with. So I go back and say, we need to do a lot of work also as the opposition. We need to go to the ground and set up structures leveling the ground so that if they have 2 million people to start with, I will also have 2 million people to start with. I need 2 million people also. Then we can talk about all the others. That's point number one.
Yeah, but
the second thing, Prof, that I want to address before.
Yeah, because you can then go to the next point after I chip in. You know, that organization is based on two things. One, the resources which they used, many of them, NADs and all these resources, they used to be able to attract the 30 people per village,
yes.
which we don't have. Secondly, I can guarantee you organize 30 and become a threat. Those 30 will be arrested and charged with the terrorism.
Is that why the parties are not having village structures?
We have
this is Spectrum on Radio. We'll continue with this discussion when we come back after this break. The plot thickens. Stay with us.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90. Watch it on your